Please don't fire mommy. The little girl whispered to the CEO, and Christmas changed everything asterisk asterisk. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime, revealing the pristine marble floors of the 42nd floor of Morrison Industries. But what CEO Marcus Morrison saw that snowy December evening wasn't what he expected. There, sitting cross-legged on the cold floor outside his corner office, was a little girl with tangled brown hair and tear-stained cheeks, clutching a worn teddy bear to her chest. Her small voice barely above a whisper cut through the silence of the empty corporate hallway, "Please don't fire my mommy." Those 6 words would shatter everything Marcus thought he knew about success, family, and what truly mattered in life. If this story touches your heart the way it touched mine, please hit that like button and subscribe for more inspiring tales that remind us of the magic that can happen when we choose compassion over profit. Marcus Morrison had built his empire on cold, hard numbers. At 38, he was the youngest CEO in his company's history, having transformed Morrison Industries from a struggling family business into a Fortune 500 corporation. His days were filled with board meetings, profit margins, and strategic acquisitions. He lived in a penthouse apartment overlooking the city, drove a car worth more than most people's homes, and wore suits that cost more than some families spent on groceries in a month. But success had come at a price. His marriage had crumbled 3 years earlier when his wife Sarah finally gave up trying to compete with his work schedule. "You love that company more than you love us," she had said the night she packed her bags, their 5-year-old daughter Emma clinging to her leg, confused and frightened. The divorce had been swift and clinical, just like everything else in Marcus's life. Sarah had moved across the country with Emma, and Marcus saw his daughter only during court-mandated visits that felt more like business meetings than family time. The irony wasn't lost on him that he had become everything his own father had been: absent, emotionally unavailable, and convinced that providing financially was the same as providing love. His father had built Morrison Industries from nothing, working 18-hour days and missing every school play, birthday party, and bedtime story. Marcus had sworn he would be different, but here he was, following the same path, making the same mistakes. That December evening, Marcus had stayed late to review the quarterly reports. The numbers were good, better than good, actually. But the board was pushing for more aggressive cost-cutting measures. The holiday season was always a time for reflection in the corporate world, and this year, that reflection was leading to some difficult decisions. A stack of termination letters sat on his desk, each one representing a life that would be disrupted, a family that would struggle through the holidays. He had been putting off signing them for weeks, telling himself it was just business, that these decisions were necessary for the company's continued growth. But something felt different this year. Maybe it was the approaching anniversary of his divorce, or maybe it was the fact that he hadn't spoken to his own daughter in 2 weeks, but the weight of those letters felt heavier than usual. As he stepped off the elevator, the sight of the little girl on his floor stopped him cold. Security was tight in the building. How had a child gotten up here? And why was she sitting outside his office at nearly 8 o'clock at night? "Sweetheart," Marcus said gently, crouching down to her level, "what are you doing here? Where are your parents?" The little girl looked up at him with eyes that seemed far too old for her face. She couldn't have been more than 7 or 8, with freckles scattered across her nose and a gap between her front teeth. Her clothes were clean but clearly well worn, and her shoes had been resoled at least once. "Are you the boss man?" she asked, her voice small but determined. Yes, I suppose I am. I'm Marcus Morrison. This is my company. What's your name?" "Lucy," she said, hugging her teddy bear tighter. "Lucy Chen. My mommy works here. She cleans the offices at night. She said you might fire her before Christmas, and I wanted to ask you not to." Marcus felt something twist in his chest. Chen. He knew that name. It was on one of the termination letters on his desk. The cleaning staff was being outsourced to a cheaper company after the holidays. It would save the company nearly $200,000 a year. "Lucy, where is your mommy now?" "She's working. She doesn't know I'm here. I hid in the supply closet when she wasn't looking and then came to find you." Lucy's lower lip trembled slightly, but she lifted her chin with a determination that reminded Marcus painfully of his own daughter. "She's been crying a lot lately. She thinks I don't know, but I hear her at night when she thinks I'm sleeping." Marcus sat down on the floor across from Lucy, his expensive suit forgotten. "Tell me about your mommy." And Lucy did. She told him about how her mother, Wei Chen, worked 3 jobs to support them after Lucy's father had died in a construction accident 2 years earlier. How Wei cleaned offices at night, worked at a grocery store during the day, and took in sewing on weekends. How she helped Lucy with her homework even when she was exhausted, and how she always made sure Lucy had everything she needed for school, even if it meant Wei went without. "She's the best mommy in the whole world," Lucy said earnestly. "She makes the best dumplings, and she reads to me every night, even when she's really tired. She says education is the most important thing, and she's saving money so I can go to college someday. But if you fire her, I don't know what we'll do." Marcus listened, feeling something crack open inside his chest. When was the last time someone had spoken about him with such love and admiration? When was the last time he had been someone's hero instead of just their boss? "Lucy, how did you know to come find me?" "I heard mommy talking to Mrs. Rodriguez from the 3rd floor. She said the big boss man was going to fire all the cleaning ladies to save money. Mrs. Rodriguez said you probably don't even know their names, that they're just numbers to you. But I thought maybe if you knew about us, if you knew that we're real people, maybe you wouldn't want to fire mommy." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. Numbers. That's exactly what they had been to him. Line items on a budget sheet. Cost-saving opportunities. He had never thought about the faces behind those numbers, the families that depended on those paychecks, the children who would go without because of his decisions. Lucy, I need to ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. Are you here all by yourself? Did anyone help you get up here? Lucy shook her head. I'm by myself. I took the elevator like Mommy showed me. She always tells me which button to push when we come to work together sometimes. I know I'm not supposed to be here, but I had to try. Christmas is in 2 weeks, and Mommy already told me we might not have presents this year because money is tight. If she loses her job. She didn't finish the sentence, but she didn't need to. Marcus could see the fear in her eyes, the weight of responsibility that no child should have to carry. Okay, Lucy. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to go find your mommy, and we're going to have a talk. All 3 of us. Would that be okay? Lucy nodded eagerly, scrambling to her feet and clutching her teddy bear. As they walked toward the elevator, she slipped her small hand into Marcus's much larger one, and he felt something he hadn't experienced in years, the simple trust of a child. They found Wei Chen on the 35th floor, methodically cleaning conference rooms with the same attention to detail Marcus demanded in his business deals. She was a small woman, probably in her early 30s, with kind eyes and calloused hands that spoke of hard work and sacrifice. When she saw Marcus walking toward her with Lucy, her face went pale. Lucy. What are you doing here? I told you to wait in the break room. Wei's English was accented but clear, and Marcus could hear the panic in her voice. Mr. Morrison, I am so sorry. She was supposed to be doing homework. I don't know how she... Mrs. Chen, Marcus interrupted gently, it's okay. Lucy and I have been having a very interesting conversation. Could we sit down and talk for a few minutes? Wei looked terrified, clearly convinced that her daughter's appearance had sealed her fate. She led them to a small break room, where Lucy immediately went to her mother's side, wrapping her arms around Wei's waist. Mommy, I told him you're the best worker ever and that you need this job, Lucy announced proudly. Wei's eyes filled with tears. Lucy, you can't just... Mrs. Chen, Marcus said, pulling up a chair across from them, I want you to know that Lucy has given me a lot to think about tonight. But first, I'd like to hear your story. In your own words. Wei was quiet for a long moment, clearly struggling with whether to trust this powerful man who held her livelihood in his hands. Finally, she began to speak, her voice soft but steady. She told him about coming to America with her husband 10 years earlier, both of them full of dreams and determination. How they had worked multiple jobs while learning English, saving every penny they could. How her husband David had been so proud when they finally saved enough for a down payment on a small apartment, how he had talked about the future he wanted to build for their family. David was a good man, Wei said, her voice catching slightly. He worked construction, very dangerous work, but the pay was better than other jobs available to us. He always said he was building a foundation for Lucy's future, literally and figuratively. When the accident happened. She paused, gathering herself, while Lucy leaned against her mother's side, offering silent comfort. After David died, I had to figure out how to survive on my own. The life insurance wasn't much, and I had no family here to help. I took the first jobs I could find. The cleaning job here at Morrison Industries has been a blessing. The pay is fair, and the hours work with Lucy's school schedule. I can bring her with me sometimes when she has no school the next day, and she does her homework in the break room. Marcus found himself thinking about his own daughter, probably doing homework right now 3,000 miles away, in a house he paid for but had never really called home. When was the last time he had helped Emma with her homework? When was the last time he had been present for the small, daily moments that actually mattered? Mrs. Chen, Lucy mentioned that you work other jobs as well? Wei nodded. I work at Chen's Market during the day, no relation, just coincidence with the name. And I do alterations and sewing at home in the evenings. Lucy helps me sometimes, don't you, sweetheart? Lucy nodded enthusiastically. I'm really good at sorting buttons and measuring fabric. Mommy is teaching me to sew. She says it's important to know how to make things with your hands. Marcus thought about his own hands, soft from years of pushing papers and typing on keyboards. When was the last time he had made something, created something tangible that wasn't a business deal or a profit margin? Mrs. Chen, can I ask you something personal? What are your dreams for Lucy? Wei's face lit up in a way that transformed her entirely. I want her to have choices I never had. I want her to go to college, to become whatever she wants to become. Doctor, teacher, engineer, anything. In China, my family was poor, and education was not available to girls like me. Here in America, Lucy can be anything. That's why I work so hard, why every sacrifice is worth it. And what about your dreams for yourself? The question seemed to surprise Wei. She was quiet for a long moment, as if no one had ever asked her that before. I would like to have my own business someday. Maybe a small restaurant or a catering company. I love to cook, and people always say my food is very good. But that's just a dream. Right now, I focus on Lucy. Marcus looked at this woman who worked 3 jobs, raised a daughter alone, and still had dreams of her own, and felt ashamed of his own complaints about his busy schedule. Here was someone who understood real sacrifice, real hard work, real love. Lucy, Marcus said, turning to the little girl, your mommy is pretty amazing, isn't she? Lucy beamed. She's the most amazing mommy in the whole world. That's why you can't fire her, Mr. Morrison. We need her job. The simple honesty of it hit Marcus harder than any board presentation ever had. This child had risked getting in trouble, had navigated a corporate building alone, had approached a stranger, all to protect her mother. When was the last time anyone had fought for him like that? When was the last time he had fought for anyone else? Mrs. Chen, Lucy, I want to share something with you. I have a daughter too. Her name is Emma, and she's about Lucy's age. But I haven't been a very good father to her. I've been so focused on work, on making money, on building this company, that I forgot what I was supposed to be building it for. Wei and Lucy listened intently as Marcus found himself sharing things he had never said out loud before. He told them about his divorce, about the loneliness of his penthouse apartment, about the way success felt hollow when there was no one to share it with. I've been thinking about the cleaning staff as just numbers on a spreadsheet, Marcus admitted. But you're not numbers. You're people with families, with dreams, with stories that matter. Lucy helped me remember that tonight. He paused, looking at the termination letters he had brought with him, still unsigned in his briefcase. Mrs. Chen, I want to make you an offer. But first, I need to ask you something. If you could change anything about your job here, what would it be? Wei looked surprised by the question. Change? Mr. Morrison, I am grateful for this job. I don't want to seem ungrateful. You're not being ungrateful. I'm asking because I want to know how we can do better. How can Morrison Industries be a better place to work for people like you? Wei thought for a moment. Well, the hours are difficult sometimes. Starting at 6 in the evening and working until 2 in the morning means I don't see Lucy much during the week. And the other cleaning ladies, we don't have benefits like the office workers. No health insurance, no paid sick days. When Lucy gets sick, I have to choose between taking care of her and losing pay. Marcus nodded, making mental notes. These were problems that could be solved, policies that could be changed. What if I told you that instead of firing the cleaning staff, we're going to make some changes? Better hours, better benefits, better pay? Wei's eyes widened. Mr. Morrison, I don't understand. Lucy taught me something important tonight. She taught me that a company is only as good as the people who work for it, and that those people deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. She also taught me that sometimes the most important conversations happen when we least expect them. Marcus reached into his briefcase and pulled out the termination letters. In front of Wei and Lucy, he tore them in half. Mrs. Chen, you're not being fired. None of the cleaning staff are being fired. Instead, I want to offer you something different. How would you feel about helping me restructure our entire facilities management program? I think we need someone who understands what it's like to work these jobs to help us make them better. Wei stared at him in shock. I don't understand. You want me to help you? I want you to help me build a company that my daughter could be proud of. A company that treats its employees like family, because that's what they are. And I think you and Lucy have shown me what family really means. Lucy tugged on Marcus's sleeve. Does this mean mommy gets to keep her job? It means your mommy gets to keep her job and help make things better for lots of other mommies and daddies too. Lucy threw her arms around Marcus's waist, hugging him tightly. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. You're the best boss man ever. Over Lucy's head, Marcus met Wei's eyes, which were bright with unshed tears. Mr. Morrison, I don't know what to say. This is more than I ever dreamed. Say you'll help me. Say you'll work with me to make Morrison Industries a place where people like you can thrive, not just survive. Wei nodded, unable to speak. As they talked through the details of Wei's new role, better hours, a significant raise, health benefits, and the opportunity to help redesign the entire facilities management program, Marcus found himself thinking about his own daughter. When was the last time he had made a decision that would make Emma proud of him? Mrs. Chen, I have one more question. You mentioned wanting to start your own business someday. What if Morrison Industries could help with that too? Help how? We have a large cafeteria that we currently contract out to a food service company. What if instead, we helped you start your own catering business? You could provide meals for our employees, and we could help you get the business off the ground. Wei's hand flew to her mouth. You would do that? I would do that. Lucy reminded me tonight that success isn't just about profit margins. It's about lifting people up, creating opportunities, building something that matters. As the evening wound down, Marcus walked Wei and Lucy to their car, a 15-year